Good morning. Welcome to the Parenting Versus podcast.
Podcast.
I haven't done this in a while.
I know. I feel rusty.
We are rusty. And disclaimer, this is a...
Kid time for me.
It's kid time for him.
Okay. This is an episode with kids.
Yeah. Well, big surprise.
Going back to our roots.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's morning. What?
Bring your voice down.
I don't want to.
Blue jay. Look.
Oh, he's calling.
Yeah,
Oh, he's a big
right
guy. Yeah.
there.
He likes our apples.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He's a... Hi, buddy.
Really pretty.
Yeah, he's
Is
a
that
big...
a blue jay though? Or
I don't know what he is, but he's a big...
That's not a
he's
blue
a
jay.
big blue bird.
He's really pretty.
He's a bluebird.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess that would make sense. Yeah. So we are on our new porch.
See, the birdie likes apples.
The
I
birdie
know, he
does
does
like
like
apples.
apples.
Hey, big guy.
Man, that is a huge bird.
Yeah, he is. He's calling, too. I wonder why.
Huh.
He's not afraid, though. He's just, like, hopping around the tree like it's his.
We're gonna have to name him.
It's his dinner.
It's his dinner, yeah.
So.
Ooh, he grabbed a pine cone off of that pinon tree. Is that a pinon? I don't know if it's a pinon. Yeah.
Dude's got it made back here.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of funny because at our old house, our now old house, there was this big fat.
Oh, hold your hand.
Okay, hold my hand.
He was a robin.
He was a robin, yeah.
We
And
called
so
him Fat Tony.
We named him Fat Tony. Well, end of story. Okay.
What?
That birdie is gone.
Yeah, and with Luke named him, I think. And we would see him all the time. Probably multiple different robins that were all Fat Tony.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, what do you want to do? Do you want to record or do you want to...
No, I'm just enjoying the morning. It's nice and cool. It's it rained last night. My throat's a little froggy,
Yeah.
but it feels really nice.
Yeah, Luke's too. It's September, so we're coming into one of my favorite seasons. So there's... Yeah.
What's that smell? Do you smell that? Is it fermenting apples?
No, I don't think so.
It smells like cider. It's like I just caught a whiff of it smells like apple cider,
Right.
but a little boozy, which tells me maybe it's rotten apples. So we're on our new porch, and
How do you like it?
I feel like I see the potential in this porch, but it's not up to Dominguez's porch status yet.
What is Dominguez's porch status?
Well, we need a swing, or at least 2 actual porch chairs. We're borrowing from the kitchen right now.
Yeah, we're sitting in kitchen chairs outside.
Yeah. You put whiskey in your coffee.
Yeah.
That's what I smell.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
It's Labor Day.
I know. I'm like, what's that smell? Definitely not apples. It's whiskey. But yeah, so we have a porch. We have a yard in our new house. We're renting, which is not what we were planning on doing, but
It's fine.
we're here. And we're happy.
Except there was a giant spider on our floor last night.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like I don't even think it was like a
I don't know what kind of spider it was, but it was at least,
huge.
I want to say 3 centimeters across.
That guy had been feasting on some flies and some bugs for a long time.
When you step on it.
And I kind of wonder if he just crawled out of our stuff that was in our garage, and he's just been
Maybe. Or
living
maybe
it
out
up.
of the chairs we bought from Craigslist.
Yeah.
The chairs that were sitting in a garage for probably 6 months.
I don't want to even think about where that thing came from, but wherever it came from, it's been eating really well. It was huge.
Well,
I was
thanks,
like,
Spider, for your service.
Yeah.
I had to kill you, though.
We murdered you because you were hideous.
No, I mean, I don't like killing spiders, though, because they do good.
We should have probably put him outside, but it was one of those things where I was like,
huge.
I turned the corner and I thought it was like a piece of crumpled up paper, and then I got closer and I was like, Zoe, come here, Zoe.
Yeah. When you were calling me,
Panicked.
I thought for sure there was something mechanical happening with our house,
No.
like the washer was overflowing or something.
No, it was one of those things where I just kind of froze and I didn't know what to do. And spiders don't usually freak me out. Like, I don't mind spiders, but it was just so big. It was like,
It's gigantic.
what the hell? Like, what, is that real?
Yeah.
Totally real.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
It was like small tarantula size.
Oh, yeah.
It was huge.
But yeah,
But-
so we are on our new porch.
There's a lot of wildlife out here.
Yeah, there's an apple tree. We have an apple tree, which is kind of cool. Like, we've made a couple things. with
Roadrunners. We've
apples.
seen roadrunners, lizards, different birds. Like,
Lots of different kinds, yeah.
we moved from kind of the center of town, so the birds that we saw were in our old house were sparrows, robins, doves. I don't think there were any pigeons in our yard, were there?
No.
Not really too many pigeons. Oh yeah, there were pigeons. Yeah.
No.
Thanks for your
So
contribution.
okay, so doves, pigeons, robins, sparrows. Did you ever see any hawks?
Yes, I did.
At our old
Well,
house?
and do you remember
Hummingbirds.
hummingbirds? There's a couple hummingbirds here. They're usually in the yard next door because there's flowers. But
Yeah.
they were checking us out when we moved in because I had hung up a lantern,
Mm-hmm.
and they were hoping it was food, but it
Yeah.
wasn't.
I'm gonna get Riley some popcorn.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Have some popcorn. Come on.
So yeah, we are in our new house. We moved, like Lorenzo said, from the middle of town to the Northeast Heights, which is close to where I grew up here in Albuquerque when I was living here as a teenager. And then my parents actually lived down the street from us, so that's kind of funny. This is not at all what we were planning. Long story short, and I think we mentioned this last time. It's been a while, so it's hard to remember, but we had put in an offer on a house, and we got the inspection back, and there was some really questionable things. It had fire damage. It was structurally unsound, and we made the decision to walk. We had gotten our kids registered for school and daycare down in that area where the house was, and so within like the series of like this happening and like a week timeline, we had to uproot that decision, come find a house to rent. We literally looked at, I don't even know how many houses, like rentals, just we crunched it in, found one, got our kids in school and daycare up here. But it was like a week of just like
This is the week before school.
pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
Like,
This is the first episode we were recording here too.
I know. So
Darn
we're
it.
here, we're settled, we've moved in, things are looking up. It's
Yeah.
just been a crazy end of summer experience.
Right. It's nice. I had some things I wanted to say, but I can't remember what they were.
I'm sorry.
This is not starting off good.
It's okay. Well, like I said, we're a little rusty. So.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting, just the changes, the changes that have happened in the last couple months. It's just been, it's
Yeah.
been crazy. So
So that's new.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's good. I like it. Although I have this weird, I don't know if it's weird, but I miss our dogs. It's just been hard, like not having them all summer,
Yeah.
having them part of our lives. They lived at my parents' house all summer. And I know it's kind of a touchy subject, but like they've been part of our lives for a long time, and they're part of our family. Oh, little hummingbirds.
they're green.
And we tried to, we put the deposit down so they can come here, and they did, and they were doing okay. There's a little dog run that they have installed back here, but they found a way to get out, and the walls around this house are very small. It's different. And then we had a note on our door from our neighbor telling us to take care of our dog or else they're going to call animal control, and they
Yeah.
were accusing us of being bad renters, bad neighbors, all this other stuff, and it was really, really hard. And so my mom called me and she's like, "Hey, we miss the dogs. Can we just keep them here while you guys rent or forever or whatever?" And I'm like, I already knew that was a point of tension between me and Lindsay already, so I'm like, okay, fine. But I do miss my pets. I just now's not the time, I guess. I don't know. Maybe one day, I don't know, we'll be dog owners again. Probably not, though. I'm just saying. Maybe some type of pet. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like pets.
I do too. I just don't like the stress that comes with them and having 3 kids and having them get out and having the neighbors pissed at me. Like, that's not how I want to start this part of our life. I love our pets too. I honestly thought the dog run was going to work for them, but it didn't. And so that was kind of like me going, okay, all right, like, if this isn't going to work, I don't really know what other solutions we have right now. And we're renting, so we can't, like, build up the fence. Like, I don't know.
It's hard to be dog owners and parents.
It is, because it's just a lot of responsibility.
I have a feeling the next time we'll be dog owners will be when Juliet's maybe like middle school or something, where they can take on some responsibility.
That would be nice, yeah. But I think our dogs are happy at your parents'. Like, they have a lot of room to roam, like a lot of room. They don't have to be cramped into a.
Yeah, my mom called me and she's like, "Mabel's so sad." Mabel's their dog.
Yeah.
She's like, "Mabel's so sad." I'm like, okay.
Well, she's also a puppy, and her and Penny.
Mabel's a puppy?
Yeah. And her and Penny play, and they keep each other entertained, like, because the other dog his parents have, Osa, she's old. She can't play.
She's a big old Rottweiler, but she's like,
I
don't know, she's like 12, 13 years old.
Yeah, she just lays around. She's not, she can't play with Mabel, but...
She's probably like 120 pounds. Like
she's huge. No, I think it was just kind of discouraging, though, having... Like, our dogs hadn't even been here for 24 hours, and we come home from work, and there's a note on our door, and it was just kind of like, F you, neighbors, and we were like, wow, like, we haven't even met these people yet, and they post a nasty note on our door and, like, address us as renters, and it's like, we're still people, we're still a family, we have names, and just because we're renting doesn't mean we're, like, any less deserving of being here than you are. It was a little discouraging, but I think we're just going to kill them with kindness and try, at least.
Sounds like a threat.
We're going to kill you with kindness, you mother effer. Just kidding. No, it was one of those things where I was like, and they didn't even put their name on it. Like, we have an idea of who it was, but they didn't even put their name on the note. It was just like a nasty note on our door. They didn't leave their name. And we were like, wow, welcome to the neighborhood. Oh.
My brother is calling. Should we do a parenting pause?
Let's do a Ramon pause.
Okay. Parenting pause. Okay, we're back. What were we talking about before my brother called? I can't remember.
I don't know. But we should talk about Zozobra, because we did that over the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I started to mention, like, this is one of my favorite times in favorite times of the year. September, the weather starts to cool off a little bit. It's been like in the 70s, which is below average, but it's nice. It's been raining. So we get a little bit of the tail end of the monsoons. Monsoon rain, the temperature goes down, it's cool, it's not as hot. School starting, you're back in a routine, and then it's like event after event after event that takes you through Christmas, right? So it starts with Zozobra, then fiestas, then and then there's all these little festivals going on around town. The wine festival, there's some beer festivals. There's balloon fiesta, which is huge. Halloween, and then November you have Thanksgiving, all this other stuff, and then Christmas. It's like every month there's some big event, right? Kind of helps you split things up. On top of all that, Albuquerque's weather in this time of the year, I love it. You have like some mornings are pretty crisp, like cool mornings, and I like it, like the morning we're in right now. But
I've been wanting to go to 4th of July Canyon and take some pictures when the leaves
we should do that. There's a small window of time.
Yeah,
we should do it for
that's
sure.
I'm saying, I want to do that. But yeah, it's funny. I look at Zozobra as like the kickoff of like the year. And I don't know, maybe you can explain that to people who have no idea what I'm talking about.
It is kind of a weird thing.
It's very weird. It's very New Mexican.
Yeah. So Zozobra has been around for a while. It's like early 20th century is like when it started. So like, I don't know, 1920s maybe?
Will Schuster was the founder.
And his nickname is Old Man Gloom. And I know a little bit of the history of it, but maybe you can Google it and find out more. But it's this puppet made out of paper and wood.
It's
big.
large, like Burning
Yeah,
Man status.
the first Zozobra I think wasn't that big. It was like 10 feet tall or something. But now Zozobra is tall. Is like as big as a building. So maybe my best guess would be 40 feet tall. But that's a guess. It might be more. I've heard that he's the biggest puppet ever. Like it's the biggest puppet.
Well done, New Mexico.
But they burn him, and he groans and moans.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This sounds really sadistic. So people, it's kind of like a Santa Fe, New Mexican tradition. Like you put your old tax papers, you put old receipts, you put all old, like if you got bad grades, you put
Divorce
those in
papers.
there. Divorce paper. Like you put negativity.
Notes,
things to stuff Zozobra, and then they burn him.
Yeah.
And people shout like, burn him.
It's like a release, like
yeah.
forgetting all this bad stuff and then moving on forward. It's almost like a New Year sort of thing.
It kind of reminds me of like a New Mexican New Year.
Yeah.
But it's funny because a lot of us in our circle of friends, like because the majority are native New Mexicans, like this is something that we do almost every year. We go up to Santa Fe, we get a hotel room or an Airbnb or whatever. We go to Zozobra, and then that marks the kickoff of fiestas. And so next weekend will be the celebration of the different fiestas in Santa Fe. There'll be a parade and food, and they kind of talk about Santa Fe as a founding community. It's changed a little throughout the years, but it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's huge here.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time with friends. It's a good time to kind of hang out and enjoy the Santa Fe weather, which is nice. Culture, the food, beer.
This year was probably the biggest turnout of people I have ever seen.
For Zozobra?
At a Zozobra.
It was packed.
It was insane.
It was so big that they didn't get everybody into the door. And I just saw a news tweet saying that they're going to refund people their money who didn't make it in. But we were in line and we almost missed it too.
Yeah, well, you could hear him groaning, and we were at the gate, and it was crazy because it started pouring down rain on us, like thunder, lightning, monsoon rain. You couldn't move because there were so many people every which way. Like it was either you keep going forward or you try to crawl your way out of a giant mass of people backwards. So finally, when he started moaning, people bum rushed the gates and like just went in. And there were guys yelling like, "We need to scan your tickets!" But there were so many people they couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. It was pretty nuts. But it was fun. It was a good time. Like it stopped raining just in time for them to burn him. We saw the fire dancers.
Yeah.
Fire dancers are these people. They're like they hold torches.
It's kind of like rite of passage. It's like a ceremonial thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Hawaiian fire dancers, actually.
And then they light him on fire. That the fire dancers do.
And everyone
there's
screams,
music.
"Burn him!" And
Yeah, it's a little bit weird.
Super strange.
If you're not from here.
You can look at the videos on YouTube. There's a ton of them. Zozobra, Zozobra, 2018. But yeah, it was fun though. We ended up going after that to, after soaking wet after Zozobra, we ended up going to a place called the Palace in Santa Fe.
It was packed.
It was packed and fun spot. But we ended up sitting on the
back patio. There was nobody there because it was still raining and it was kind of cold.
But we had a cover over us, so we were just sitting there dry, but it was raining around us. And then the waitress was like the nicest person, and she's like, "Do you guys want some blankets?" And we were like, "Do you have those?" And she brought us blankets, and so we were like cozied up
Yeah.
on the Santa Fe patio with blankets and tequila.
Yep.
Their food was really good, though. I have to give them a shout out.
We should do State Fair too.
We should.
That's another September event is the State Fair. It's the 100th
I
century.
feel like the State Fair has gotten a little ghetto.
Well, I mean, it's just people in Albuquerque, I guess. I don't know. It's in the district where I work, the Highland District.
Oh, right. Lorenzo's on his high horse.
No, I'm not. Those are the people I serve at my school.
The people. No, I understand that. I'm just saying, I think there's a time and a place to go to the State Fair. I would definitely go during the day on like a Sunday. But there's some colorful characters.
I'd go on a Friday night. I don't care.
Okay, well, you're a far better human than I am.
Yeah. So, State Fair, what else is going on? Nothing?
Um, I don't know. Just, I don't know. 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 I don't started a new job.
Okay.
And
Oh, I was gonna say, all right. Even though this recording it needs to be juiced up a little bit. I was watching, or we were watching, the Smithsonian show. It's like I don't know what it's called exactly.
It's like different decades in color.
But they basically add color to
Historical footage.
Yeah, so footage that's black and white.
Or archival footage.
And it was really cool just like to hear the narration, like see this video. It's really fun to like check out things that happened in the past that we don't really see much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there's a big difference between reading about an event in a textbook with a black and white picture next to it versus like seeing the footage but seeing it in color. I feel like it makes it a lot more real, and it's easier to connect. Like, you know, I don't know. We were watching something on the 20s, and it was like I've never seen the 20s in color.
Yeah.
You know, and it made it seem so much more real to me.
Yeah, it was on YouTube, and you know, they were talking about prohibition and suffrage and all of the cultural like shifts that were happening
Depression.
because of all this stuff that was going on. Yeah, and later on, I talked about depression, industry boom before the depression with you know, the moving assembly line with Ford and their Model T.
Detroit, yeah.
The accumulation of wealth, and then like the fall with the depression. Everybody is living on credit, and you know, they didn't have actual capital to like back all of their borrowing. Like it was, and then like the depression it was just really cool. The music, and like they were talking about this. They were talking about this suburb in Tulsa called Greenwood, I believe. After the Civil War, the government gave ex-slaves all this land outside of Tulsa. And so they started accumulating wealth and making business, and they built this town, you know, basically a successful community of black people. And like rich white people in Tulsa had a feud with them, and they basically burned their city down, and like it was crazy. We were watching this.
They were talking about the rise of the KKK too,
yeah.
which was really hard to see in
Yeah.
color. I mean, it's hard to see anyway, but like,
Right.
it was just like, and it was weird. We had to explain to Luke like what he was looking at.
Yeah, he's like, "Are those guys in the hoods? Are they bad guys or good guys? The monsters?" And I was like, "Yeah, those are bad guys."
People, but they do terrible things.
Yeah. But it was just interesting to see like the culture and trying to like imagine what it'd be like to. And then with the Spirit of St. Louis and the fame that was going along with that. And,
Well, it was interesting too. I thought about, you know, like social media, like how now anybody can be famous based on like a social media like trending situation. But like they were talking about Charles Lindbergh and how the rise of radio is kind of what made him famous. You know, he flew from the U.S. to Paris, like the longest nonstop flight. I think they said he brought something like 5 ham sandwiches with him to keep them
and a compass.
fueled, and a compass, and that was it. But they had this footage.
My skin, look, the skin came off,
And your cut.
growed on.
Okay, good job.
That means your body's getting better.
Your skin did a good job growing. Can you throw that Band-Aid in the trash?
Things you never thought you'd say. No, but there was this footage when he landed in Paris. Thousands of people are rushing.
Yeah, he's like a
this
celebrity.
Field, like because they were listening on the radio and they heard about what he was doing and they waited for him to land. Like people just rushing this field. It's incredible, and you see how technology completely changed the landscape of like what Americans looked at as celebrity.
Yeah.
At that point, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it was really interesting to see the rise of radio too, like technology. Like radio was, I mean, we don't think of radio as technology.
Right.
We don't use AM, FM radio much. In fact, I will very rarely put on a radio station for any reason. We do use radio wave technology right now. Your cell phones, our cell phones, operate off of radio wave technology. Different frequencies than like the radio that your car does. But that technology is new, right? Podcasting is relatively new. I remember wondering I had an iPod, right? In 2003, 2004. and one of the options on my iPod was podcasts. I'm like, what the heck is a podcast? It was always empty. I never had anything on there. And finally, I looked on iTunes, and I was like looking through the different things you could sync to your iPod. One of them was podcasts, and there was some all right shows, like nothing too crazy, just people doing independent like creative stuff. But then it's been exploding in the past like 2-3 years. Like podcasts, I would guess are more popular, more they're more like they gain more
They're
listeners,
more accessible to everybody.
and they're more interesting than like radio, right?
Well, because they're unregulated.
Right.
You can talk about whatever you want, however
And just
you
like
want.
us, anybody with a recorder can record a podcast. Like it's pretty cool.
You know, it was pretty funny. Speaking of that, the other day I'm talking to my mom, and she's like, "Oh yeah, so and so, somebody from her work, so and so's son and daughter-in-law listen to your podcast." And I was like, "What?"
How?
I don't know. I didn't ask, but it was pretty weird. Like I was like, "That's so strange to think about."
Yeah,
Like
we just put it out there, and
yeah,
there's
it's just
people
weird to think
can
that there's
consume it.
strangers that are hearing this and they're listening to it. And I mean, thank you for listening. It's not like we do it for any other reason other than
Wanting to be famous.
we want to. Well, we want $1 million too. But other than that, no, but honestly, like this is just kind of a thing that we do. It's an outlet for us, and
Yeah.
it's something we enjoy. But the fact that people listen is kind of crazy to me.
It's a medium for us to kind of communicate to,
Yeah, I think so.
because maybe we're not the best communicators to each other, but
Maybe.
when we know that other people are listening, like we're gonna be nicer
we
to
put
each
on
other.
our polite fancy pants.
Yeah, like just a few minutes ago, I paused the thing to talk to Ramon, and we started fighting.
I wouldn't say it was a fight. I would say it was an annoyance.
Yeah, but yeah, Lindsay
We-
insulted me. It's all good. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And therein lies the problem.
I just need a haircut. I admit it. I need a haircut, even though I want to have long hair like Dave Grohl.
But you don't have the same hair as Dave Grohl.
Okay, think
You
of
have
somebody else.
curly, froey hair.
Okay, I want to have long hair like Zach De La Roca.
Okay. But if you're not going to man bun it, what's the point?
I can't man bun it yet. You have to commit.
Well, if you're going to commit to the man bun, I'm okay with it.
Well, we'll
Are
see.
you committing?
I might commit to a barber. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, go right ahead.
Well, I ordered you some beard oil, so don't get rid of your beard. Just maybe clean
I'm
it
never
up.
going to shave my beard. I mean, I want to shave my beard to feel cleaner, but I don't like my face.
So, this is going to segue into a weird place. Speaking of things that are a part of you, like beards, we watched a weird-ass movie last night.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the weirdest movies I have ever
I'm
seen in my life.
Pretty surprised that we committed through the whole entire movie,
Well, I
because
just
it was
had
just
to
strange.
say, like, I needed to see where they were going with that. It was called The Cleanse. It had Angelica Houston in it, and that guy from Roseanne, who I can't remember his
He's
name.
the he's the boyfriend that always wore the like. He's also in what's
Big Bang Theory?
yeah, Big
Yeah.
Bang. But I don't watch that show, so I
Neither
don't
do I.
know. But yeah, he was like the rough kind of punk rock boyfriend of the curly haired girl who was kind of a rebel. He always wore like flannel and like cut off jeans and stuff.
So this, I don't want to give it away in case you want to watch it on Hulu. It's called The Cleanse again.
There's also the girl is British, and she's in another movie that we've
She's
seen.
in Will Ferrell.
Land of the Lost.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
I have to think about
Yeah.
it. So it was super weird. There was a point in the movie where we were like, "What the hell are we watching?" And then we were like, "Well, we committed. Let's just finish it." There was one point in the movie where I wanted to throw up.
Yeah, we can give the premise. Like, there's no spoilers. Like,
Okay.
in fact, you can watch the preview on YouTube.
And it kind
But
of,
it's on Hulu. But basically,
don't watch it with your kids. That would
no.
be terrifying.
You
It was
might not
terrifying
even
for
want to watch
adults.
it. You might not even want to watch it at all. It's just really weird. But so basically, there's a group of people that are in they're in bad situations. They're sad
They're
for
not
whatever reason.
content with their life
Yeah.
as it is.
And he sees this ad for like a free retreat or whatever. So he gets to the retreat, and this is all in the preview, by the way. They take this cleanse. They have to drink bottles of like liquid that who knows what's in it. but they drink it, and after they drink it, they purge. What do they call it? What they called it, like termination or elimination, and basically they burp up and vomit like a baby thing.
This sounds amazing. The way you're saying it.
And basically that's it. And it's kind of like fighting your demons, I guess. And
it's kind of like it's supposed to be a dark comedy.
Yeah.
But I didn't really see a lot of comedy in it. I was just a little more like grossed out or slash like really confused.
He like burps out this booger thing, and it grows, and it's living.
It's supposed to be symbolic of like your inner
your
negativity,
your baggage or whatever.
Your baggage.
So we're talking about it. So
I mean, maybe check it out or don't.
It's on. It's, like I said, it's on Hulu. Watch it if you want.
Adventurous.
Watch the preview. Let me see if you want to watch it. Whatever.
You may never listen to our podcast again if you watch it.
It was
after us
definitely one of the strangest movies I've ever seen.
Super weird and disturbing. I had some crazy dreams last night because of that and the spider in our kitchen.
Yeah.
It was not a good night in my head last night. I'm just going to tell you right now. I had some weird ones.
Yeah, that was fun. Hi, Riley.
It's my kid time.
It's your kid time?
All right, go have fun in your kid time.
Hey. Bro. Riley.
Go have fun in your kid time. Bye.
What's he doing?
I don't know.
Hey, bro. I love you.
Love you. My bike is right here.
Your bike is right there. He's got a big head.
He's got a lot of hair like me.
I know.
My hair looks double in size because of all the hair and the beard.
You know, it's funny because I think I insulted you and I didn't mean to the other day.
Like a few minutes ago? When?
No.
Like the other day. Okay, explain me the situation.
Oh my gosh. This is what I deal with, people.
Explain to me the situation.
I was showing you, like, different... I looked on Pinterest, and I was showing you different examples of, like, things you could try at the barber. Because you have a certain style of hair, and I was like, this might work. And I think you took it the wrong way. I wasn't trying to be insulting. I was just trying to, like, encourage and inspire you.
Oh, okay. I wasn't insulted at that.
Okay. Because I was worried
But when you blatantly insult me, that's insulting.
Obviously. This is our communication issue right here. This is the breakdown.
Yeah.
Like, Lorenzo likes to make a lot of assumptions, and he likes to kind of approach things not in a very tactful way.
Doesn't everybody assume?
I don't know. I'm not everybody, so I don't know.
Do you want to sit on the couch? It's more comfortable.
Sure. But you're kind of passive-aggressive about things. And instead of just saying what you mean, you say, like, you wait until we're recording to say, oh, she did this. And I'm like, you could have just told me that before. But you're kind of passive-aggressive, and I think I get really annoyed with that because I'm like, just say it.
Maybe it comes off as passive-aggressiveness.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just, I don't know.
I don't know either, but...
Ooh, there's a lot of sound coming from that TV. Anyways.
I have to say I'm pretty excited about... We're in our new living room now, and there's a big River Rock fireplace. And I'm excited about Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah,
Light
Christmas
some
is going
stuff
to be
on
fun.
fire and that baby.
But on that same discussion, I feel like we're off a little bit. I've felt off for a while. Our marriage and our friendship and our... Yeah, and there's a lot of variables that come into play. And I think it should be talked through. I think
Well,
there
let's
should
talk
be...
about it now because I
think there
this
should
is
be
helpful.
communication.
What are the variables that you think?
I think every marriage has a lot of variables in play.
I get that, but what about ours?
No, I know. I'm getting there. For ours, it was a summer that was difficult for me, at least. I think sometimes I feel like it was only difficult for me because every time I talk about how difficult it is, like everybody's like, "No, it wasn't difficult. Like you need to stop talking about how difficult it was."
No, I just think it's not that it wasn't difficult. It's
but for me, it was really hard. Like for me, it was, and I'm dealing with that. And a lot of times, I think people need to be told that their feelings are valid.
I think people have validated your feelings. I just think that sometimes you need to like acknowledge them and move forward instead of wallowing in them.
But my feelings have not been validated. And that's why they're not. No, but you can't disagree with how I feel, because that's how I feel.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying I've heard my parents validate your feelings.
No,
Your parents.
but there's so there's, for me, things have been really hard over the summer for a lot of different reasons. Like, I've had a little bit of a chance to talk to people close to me about my summer, and what I've been told is that you shouldn't feel like that. You shouldn't talk about that. Like, not like just you, but just people who are close to me, who I've talked to. Like, I've expressed, like, this is difficult, and I'm told a lot of times, like, well, you need to move on. We can't talk about this, when I've never had a chance to talk about it. You know what I mean?
I feel like
so there's that.
About it a lot.
I know, but I start to talk about it, and then I have to stop. There's no, for me, if I start talking about something, I have to finish the conversation. I have to get closure, and then I feel good. I can close it. But if I just start talking about it, and there's never that closure, it's always just there. You know what I mean? If there's like this difficult situation I'm going through, I have to. A motorcycle. Go show Luke.
Or Juju.
Once I can start the conversation, but if it's not ended, like, it's still there. And that's how I operate. And I don't expect other people to understand how I operate.
Then why do you get upset?
I'm not upset. I don't expect other people to understand how I operate, but that's just how I operate. And people who are close, I want them to have empathy, and I want to have empathy on other people too, because I know that not every person operates exactly the same. There's people who are going to operate differently than me, and it doesn't make sense to me, but I want to try to have empathy for that person so I can understand how they operate. So it makes sense to me, right? This is really hard for me sometimes. I need to understand how Luke operates. I need to understand how you operate. I need to understand how my mom operates. No, buddy, go. You already had popcorn.
You can go get dressed.
Do you want to hear whining on tape? Go ahead and whine, Luke.
Shaming him is not going to fix the problem.
No, I know, but he's going to listen to this in the future and he can hear himself. Come here, Luke.
Maybe he wants to be heard and empathized with, and
I know.
And now
he's throwing pillows now. So, anyways, I'll get him some popcorn. Should I pause for a second?
I think maybe you need to take a parenting pause and validate your kids' feelings.
Okay. Okay, we're back. Yeah, I just had to. Oh, she wants her sippy. We got it for her.
Okay, go ahead. So, Luke, just to recap what happened just now, Luke got really upset with us, and he was throwing his Legos and throwing pillows off the couch, and we've been trying to have this conversation about how when you're mad, it's okay to be mad, and you're allowed to be mad. And it's okay to say I'm mad or I'm upset, but it's not okay to destroy things or ruin things or take out your anger on other people or things that don't belong to you. He's in first grade. We're learning, but it's been kind of the struggle lately with teaching him how to express when he's mad, because he gets really frustrated, and then he just wants to chuck his Legos, which I get because I'm kind of like that too. And
Who wasn't?
you just have to learn how to regulate it. So that's what we're doing.
And again, I am trying to figure out how to empathize with these different personalities. Luke is not like me. You're not like me.
Not
My
at all.
kids are not like, there's a lot of people who aren't like me, and I'm trying to understand how they work so I don't react if I see something happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like our relationship, it has been off all summer. And I know it's difficult or annoying for you to like rehash everything, but for me, I need closure on some things so I can move on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's weird how I can admit that it's weird for me to want that, but as like who I am, I want the best for my family, right? I made a decision with you together. We made a decision in late April that the best thing for our family was going to be to move to Portland. And when that didn't work out, and I know Lindsay's rolling her eyes right now, but like when that didn't work out, Lindsay moved on and it was easy for her to move on. For me, I have to like talk things through. And that's one thing.
Months at a time?
No, because like I was just saying, I need closure.
We have had closure.
And that's the thing about our relationship too, the way things work. It could be,
I don't know
it could
what
be.
more closure you want.
No, but like, just listen.
We've had closure.
Just listen. Any conflict that we have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juju.
Any conflict we have, I have to talk it through, and I need there to be some sort of like resolution. You know what I mean?
Well, what kind of resolution do you want in this situation? We have a new house. We are settled.
No, I know. I just have to like deal with that in a way that in a conversation that says
No, Juju.
That's Juju. That's your Juju.
That's you. Yeah.
You go sit by Riley.
Where's your Lukey? Go find him.
Go sit by Riley.
Why?
Yeah, go sit by Riley. Me and Mommy are having couch time. One counselor we had, she was a little bit nuts, but she said that every couple that has kids needs couch time. And I think that's a good thing that we hadn't really had.
It sounds stupid, but it's actually
it's really good. And we use our couch time to record podcasts sometimes. But any conflict I have with anybody, there has to be some sort of, there can't be like a lingering conflict because that drives me nuts. It could be with anybody. I experienced this with a coworker earlier this year. I told you about that. I need there to be resolution. I need there to be like somebody to say, hey, it's okay. It's gonna be fine. And with Portland specifically, my heart was set. I had already applied for my licensure in Oregon. I had already applied for jobs. I was already looking at houses. My heart was there. My mind was there. Like I was imagining already.
But whose fault is that?
I'm not delivering fault at all.
I'm just saying like.
There's no fault. I'm just saying.
We of all people should know that you don't count your chickens until they hatch.
No, I wasn't counting any chickens, but like if you have your heart and mind set on something, you're all in. You're not like gonna be halfway in.
Can I tell you something? Never mind. Go ahead and keep talking. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted you.
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
I don't think you're used to being disappointed.
Okay.
And I think I am. And I think that that's where the difference is. I'm used to being disappointed. I understand what that feels like, and I understand how to push forward and keep going. I think that you're not used to being disappointed. So
Can I tell you why?
Handle it well.
Can I tell you why? I'm not a risk taker. Historically, I'm not a risk taker. I'm like Luke. That's where me and Luke do our 6-year-old son. That's where we are in common, is we don't take risks. I have never been a risk taker. Luke doesn't like scary rides. He doesn't like to be uncomfortable in that way. Me, ever since I was a kid, I do not like to do the things that boys like to do. Like, sure, I like to ramp my bike every once in a while, but I was very conservative about it. I do not like to take risks. So for me to decide that I wanted to move...
Mom,
Okay.
Okay. Should we do a parenting so I can
No, it's fine.
wrangle these kids?
We have kids. Handle it.
No, I know, but this is like...
They're fine.
We're getting some nitty gritty.
It's fine.
All right, so
Lorenzo.
can I?
It's fine.
I'm
You
gonna
can't just put them in front
no.
of the
I'm
TV and
continuing.
expect them to be entertained all
I'm
the time.
continuing. I've never been a risk taker in any way, so for me to decide and say, I want to move to Portland, or even I think we were thinking about Washington. It was just Portland or Oregon or Washington, whatever it was. That was huge for me. For me to like be all in and say like, let's do this. That was a risk, and that's something that doesn't like jive with my personality. So I was all in. I was imagining these things, and then when it didn't work out as far as my licensure, I got an email that said that my licensure wouldn't transfer because I have it was some like specific thing. My license in New Mexico is a
It doesn't matter
quote unquote
anyway.
provisional. Anyways,
It doesn't matter.
I got an email, and it just was kind of devastating to my character. So, and I never had a chance to like deal with that completely.
What would a resolution on the other side look like for you though? Getting your way? Because that's not.
No, like I'm okay with not getting my way, but the way that I get resolution is, I think, from people around me.
But if you look for other people's validation or resolutions, you're never going to be happy. You can't care what other people think because
I think it's part of it. It's part of the equation. I don't think it's the full thing.
you can't care about other people
No, I get it.
validating your existence. That doesn't work.
I get it. And I do deal a lot internally, like by writing it down. I keep a journal, and I kind of express my frustrations, and I kind of work things out in my head, like on paper. Like I do keep pretty good journals. And that helps me. That's super therapeutic, is just to sit down and write about it. Podcasting helps, like discussing this out loud, like helps. But it was hard because, like I said, I've never been a risk taker. I took a risk and I failed.
But it's not failure; it's growth. Like
no,
you can't look at it as failure.
No,
it's growth.
I do look at it as growth though, because now, in the future, I am going to be more likely to take a risk because once you do it once, it's better. So.
Bye.
So that started off our summer. That kind of set us apart, and then like the misunderstanding between me and you, like how I work and how I have to resolve things, and then selling our house and going through all that, being broken into, living with your parents, which we're grateful for, but we didn't have couch time. We didn't have like our space, and it was difficult. And
they're gonna break that door.
Here.
That's why I wanted to take it off the hinges when we moved in and just put it in the garage until we move out because I'm afraid they're going to just plow right through it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, we're back. That's a new one from Jeff. I'm not sure if I've heard of that.
I actually really like it.
It's neat.
It's kind of like a rewind.
Yeah. So I'm sorry for talking about myself a lot, but it's like a lot of bottled up stuff, and this disconnect has been it's been hard to kind of be connected to you because of that over the summer, and it's kind of bleeding into now. I think that we're back in a routine, which is good, but it is also interesting to me to see how different people work. Like I needed closure, not moving to Oregon. I needed closure from not buying the house in Borellis. I needed that sort of closure.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
Given some of the things that I've been dealing with this summer, that I'm not gonna get into on this podcast because they're still very personal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I've seemed a little bit insensitive, but it's easy for me to be like, oh, so you didn't get a house. Big freaking deal. Mm-hmm. Like, compared to some of the stuff I'm dealing with, it seems like a very petty issue.
No, I got you.
It's hard. It's hard for me to be empathetic.
Like, relative to what you're going through, my problems are not big.
And I realize that's maybe a selfish approach. Like, I realize that the world doesn't revolve around me and that my problems are not everybody's problems. Mm-hmm. And that it's not fair to compare because what you're going through is very real to you and very frustrating to you.
And like what you're going through, I'm dealing with too. Because you're my wife and I care about...
Yeah, but it's not the same.
No, it's not. It's never going to be the same. But you are my wife and I care about you more than anybody in the world. So I'm feeling that with you. Like, no matter what. I know it's you're not going to believe me, but I do...
It's not that I don't believe you. It's just that I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it on this podcast because I need to.
Seriously?
And I really don't care what people think because this is... So, back last year, November, I took a DNA test, a 23andMe DNA test. For fun, just because my grandpa was adopted, I kind of wanted to know more about his background and his history. And I also know that my kids are going to listen to this someday, and I want them to understand this. And I'm sorry if I'm going to like start crying because it's really hard. So I got my results back. I was the first one in my family to take it. My brother took it also. We both took 23andMe, and he called me and he said, are you sitting down? And I was like, no, should I be? And he's like, yeah. And he basically told me that we are half siblings. And at first I thought he was kidding because my brother, like, he and I play jokes back and forth with each other and stuff. And so I thought he was kidding, but it turns out that that's correct. Not going to get into too much more of that, but dealing with that information has been hard on my family and me. And I found the other person that is a factor in the situation, and they're very nice. And we are starting to have a relationship. It's cordial, it's friendly. We're learning about each other, and it's been an interesting journey, but I've been dealing with the truth of that all summer and how that affects me and my kids and my family and my parents and my brother and like just everybody. It's been very hard. Because everything that I thought I was or I thought I knew about myself is not true. And so I feel like I've had to like dissect myself and build myself back up. You're going to have to handle it.
I can't.
Well, then you're going to have to find something else to do. And so dealing with that on top of like this house stuff and all this other stuff, I feel like I'm dealing with the situation alone. And I don't know. I know I'm not alone, but I feel like I've been dealing with it alone because I don't know anyone else that can really relate, except for my grandfather, but he's dead. He's the whole reason I took the test was because I wanted to find out, about him, and then I ended up finding out about me. Apparently this kind of stuff happens or has been happening and coming out a lot more than people thought it would. It's pretty common, actually, apparently, with these DNA tests. Like, people are finding out a lot of different things they never knew before. And it's not bad. I mean, I think I got a pretty good deal in the situation. This other person wants a relationship with me. It's good. I realize that that's not the case for everybody. So, I mean, I feel like there's a little guilt there too. But that's what I've been dealing with. So I guess it's really hard for me to like have empathy for like things like a house.
No, I get it. It's like noise, right? Whatever the loudest thing is going to get your attention. So that's loud in your ear. And these other things are not as loud. And the other things might even just be annoyances.
They are annoyances.
But, I mean, I get it. I do. And Yeah, I mean, that's super difficult to deal with, right? You have to, like, there's a process, probably like the same thing as mourning, right? Oh, who's calling me now? It's my mom. I'll answer it later. I'll call her back. But thank you for sharing.
I'm sure that there's some people that are not going to be real happy about me sharing that, but
We can edit it out.
I don't want to edit it out because this is a part of who I am and this is a part of my story. And I don't want to edit the parts out of my story just because they're ugly or they're difficult. I'm not going to pretend like they don't exist. And that's been part of the struggle too. There's some people that want me to maybe not talk about this.
I need to go to the restroom.
Okay, go to the restroom.
He needs some help. There's some people that maybe don't want me to talk about it openly like this for fear of fallout or, emotional stuff. But the truth is, it doesn't change it. It doesn't change the facts. It doesn't change the situation. And I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't exist because it makes somebody uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because this is part of who I am, and I'm not going to repress who I am to make other people happy. That's something that's something that they are going to have to deal with on their terms. But this is how I'm dealing with it on mine.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, needless to say, it's been crazy. You're dealing with that. I'm kind of trying to support you in that we're going through all of this all at once. And then personalities, like I said, deal with things differently. I'm trying to deal with disappointment in Portland. And like taking risk for the first time. I'm trying to take disappointment in settling for a house in Albuquerque, and I don't even get that. And now here we are. Like, it's September. The summer has brought us curveball after curveball. And I'm starting to settle in. I'm starting to be okay. Like, we're renting a house that I enjoy being in. But it's like kind of bittersweet because I'm enjoying being here, but it's not mine. Like, I can't like plant a tree if I wanted to plant a tree. But okay, hang on.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's hard. It's been a really hard summer for a lot of different reasons. I also feel like my faith has been on mute. My faith has always been important to me, but I feel like it's been muted, honestly, because it's maybe not the loudest thing right now. I've been sort of, I don't even want to say disenchanted with church. I've just been kind of meh. Like, I'm like, it's not the loudest thing in my head right now, so it's not getting my attention. And I know that's not like a great way to be.
I feel the same way.
Look, there's a pigeon, by the way.
It's a dove.
Oh, there it is. But, and I feel bad about that because I know that I've let that fall by the wayside, and that's something that's always been important to me. But it hasn't been lately because it's not the loudest thing in my head.
Right. But now we're here. We, our family's here. We have jobs and stuff. We have, our kids are in school, daycare, all this other stuff, and kind of getting into the swing of things, like getting in a routine, which is nice. It's just hard. I think, man, that's one thing I realized this summer, how important a routine is. And when that routine gets rattled and shaken to the core, like, you don't feel okay.
Yeah.
You just don't feel okay when there's zero routine. And our kids pick up on it. And that's actually given me insight as a teacher too, because I serve kids who are in the International District, like the most impoverished area in the city, right? Projects and apartments, and these kids move around like multiple times. Yeah. Why wouldn't they be angry or upset? Like, holy crap.
Or like, school's not the loudest thing in their head.
Like, mom and dad are probably divorced, if even around. Like, I got this new kid who he went to the feeder middle school to the school I teach at, last year. But then over the summer, like mom and dad got separated. Even if they were ever married, I have no idea, but they were separated. Mom moved to Roswell, so he moved to Roswell over the summer. Started going to Roswell High School. Dad is still here in town, but mom couldn't take care of him for whatever reason, or like didn't want him there. Or, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
But it's just, and these things are common.
Mm-hmm.
These sorts of stories are common. I have a kid who's in foster care. His permission slip came back the other day, and it's like signed somebody's name, and in parentheses it says foster mom. Another kid is...
But think about how much that affects that kid. Every time something's signed, somebody knows he's a foster kid.
Yeah.
It's like this label he doesn't even like want to advertise, and it's there.
Yeah.
Every time.
And he's 15 or he's 14 or 15.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, as humans, we need that. We need that security. We need that routine. Oh yeah, we've seen our kids need routine. They crave it, and we crave it as humans. Like we need that. We just need that security, that stability. So.
Yeah. So it's been hard.
There's been a lot of anger in our family.
Yeah. Resentment, I think, too.
Like, I think we annoy each other.
We definitely annoy each other.
We're angry at each other. We're angry at our kids sometimes, like more so. Like these sorts of things are hard dealing with this summer. But I hope that we can get a routine. I hope we can get a plan together. And I think that even if there's a plan, that's part of the structure. You know what I mean? Like if you know where you're going and you know there's a plan, that's better. That's one thing I've learned too. Like I took a risk and I wanted to go to Portland, right? But there was next to no plan. Like this was in the span of 1 month's time. I'm like, I'm going to move us across the country. And like both of us were like, we're on board. Let's do it. We're tired of this neighborhood. The city, we love the city, but it's like, we want to be in a different community. We tried to plan it in a month. That is not enough time. Like you need a long time to plan if you're going to make this sort of move.
You know, it's interesting because I'm not usually an optimist, but I feel like being in this rental house situation is actually like an opportunity to get our shit together.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's kind of like, okay, put the brakes on, pause, like, get your shit together, like, strategize, take your time, like, like, settle up, settle in, plan when you're in your right mind. Like, I feel like this is just kind of an opportunity to get that done.
Right.
I don't look at it as a setback. I look at it as an opportunity.
Oh, me too. I'm on the same page with you. And you know, last night I was kind of pacing and I told you that I felt anxious.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put my finger on it. That's why. Because all summer we didn't have any sort of stability. Everything was up in the air. I didn't have a house for like a month. There was no place that was mine.
The plan was there was no plan.
And we were just kind of surviving with your parents, and I can't stress how grateful I am that they put us up. But there's something about having your place that is really important to me. Having this couch time. Like we couldn't do this on the couch at your parents on a date like today.
We didn't even have a couch at my parents'.
They have couches.
No, I'm saying this is our couch.
Oh, yeah, this is our couch that we're sitting on.
Right. It's the little things. It's the little things.
So now I'm here and like I'm looking around and I'm saying, okay, this is gonna be my life at least for the next year. I can start to live. Like, and I just had that residual like anxiety.
I've wanted to get a tattoo. This is so cheesy. I've wanted to get a tattoo like for a couple weeks now that just says like small victories on it. Because that is kind of what I've learned this summer. Now that it's fall, I can say this past summer. It's small victories that amount to balance and happiness. It's not like these great grandiose things. It's the small things. Like at the beginning of the summer, we didn't have a place. We didn't have a home. We have a roof over our heads. We have our coffee cups. We have... Okay, go potty. We have a bathroom for our kids to go potty in. We have a couch that's ours. Yeah, it's from Craigslist. Who cares? Like, it's our couch.
I mean, that's the best type of couches, in my opinion.
No, dude, we got really lucky with these couches and stuff. Like,
I love buying things that are used because, number one, it doesn't take new materials to build what I have. They'd have to chop down a tree. And it's better value. Like, this couch, I don't know how much they paid for this brand new. I'm guessing $500.
I don't know.
We paid $100.
Yeah.
Was it $100?
Yes.
It was $100 for this and a chair.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Point being, though, it's small victories. It's small things that matter. It's the fact that we can go and put our kids in their own room to bed at night, and I can buy a nightlight because they have their own bedroom now. You know, it's being able to say, like, what?
She's watching a bird.
Oh,
Juju's watching a bird.
it's cute. But that's what I'm saying. Look at her. Like, our daughter's outside playing in our yard, watching birds. She's playing with her toys. That's a small victory that we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And I think that there was a lot of growth this summer. Like I was just mentioning, like, if you're going to make an across the country move, there has to be more plan. You have to let your family know. You have to start saving up money. You have to find jobs. You have to, like, set the path for what you want to do, and you have to have a good reason to do it, not just a whim.
Would you say that you have learned the difference between a healthy risk and an unhealthy risk?
I think learning how to take a risk.
In the right way? A calculated risk?
Like, you can reduce some of your risk if you plan.
Yeah.
And you can take the risk, and it'll be less of a risk if you're planning.
Yeah.
I was looking through my journals, and starting in about March of this year, maybe late February, I started to become really disenchanted with the land of enchantment.
But
there were some things that just were happening, like Luke wasn't doing okay in school. The weather was super hot. There was some parent at my school pulled out a gun and shot at another parent, and that was at that point I was like, I'm done. I need to move somewhere else. And that was I believe that was in March when that happened, or maybe it was early April. And the rest of the school year, April and May, I had in my mind that I was gonna move. And our discussion that we had that we decided we were gonna move to Portland was in April. And I remember going to work the last 2 months of the summer, thinking, like, I'm not coming back next year. This is going to be interesting. And we're having meetings at the end of last year talking about planning next year. I'm like, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be in Portland. I'm going to be enjoying the rain. I'm going to, ride the streetcar or whatever. So little did I know that my plan was going to not happen. So, okay, go potty. She wants to go potty.
she's been telling me
She's a big girl. Go potty.
She needs help. She doesn't.
I know. I'll help her.
But I think we should probably wrap this thing up anyway.
Okay.
Get on with our day, huh? Enjoy our
Are you listening to anything?
Labor Day. I have been listening to a band called Slender Bodies. A lot. I like them a lot. Slender Bodies is kind of my new deal right now.
Anything else?
Off the top of my head, no.
What is Slender Bodies? Is it like hip hop?
No. It's very like
indie?
Chill. Kind of reminds me of like Alt J status. Yeah, it's kind of indie. Yeah, Slender Bodies has been what I've been listening to, and then podcasts. The Spooked podcast has new episodes, so I'm super excited about that. I love it's WNYC based podcast.
Yeah.
Spooked is awesome, and I'm listening to another podcast, but I can't think of the name of it right now. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been listening to.
Oh, the one that we were listening to together when we were folding laundry?
Yeah, it's
like these people from LA, and they were talking about cults and stuff.
They talk about different, like, weird subculture things, and I can't think of the name of it. I'll shout it out on the next one, because my brain is mush.
I haven't really been doing podcasts very much, and I've been having a hard time getting into music. Like, I've always loved listening to music on my ride home to work, but to and from work on my commute. but there hasn't really been much music that like is moving me. I'm having a hard time finding new good music that I like I really love.
So if you guys have any suggestions, you can tweet at us.
Tweet it. I've really, like, on my way to work, I've been listening to audiobooks using an app called Hoopla, and you can sign in with your library card.
Cool.
So Albuquerque, Bernalillo County Library, shout out. But I've been listening. I started the Neil deGrasse Tyson astrophysics for people in a hurry, and I'm like pretty close to finishing that up. And then I'm going to start listening to probably some theology, like philosophy books, whatever. Because just like you, my faith is dwindling.
Yeah.
I'm like skipping church, and I'm like, I don't really care. Just stay home.
Now that we have a home, we want.
Now that I have a home, I just want to be here, and I don't want to go to church. Like I don't know. I need a revival, y'all. But I've been listening to the audiobook. And then when I'm sitting around at home, if the kids are napping, like yesterday when Juliet was napping and you went to get a pedicure,
which was glorious.
Yeah, toes look great.
Thank you.
I cruise YouTube a lot, and a lot of my YouTube consumption is like tech podcasts, or not podcasts, like tech YouTubers, MKBHD.
I don't even know what that means.
His name is Marquez Brownlee.
Him.
Yeah. He reviews tech, and he's been my favorite for a long time. He interviewed the Tesla guy. What's his name? Elon Musk.
Cricket.
Yeah, Elon Musk. He interviewed Neil deGrasse Tyson, which is great. So I watched tech YouTubers, and then last night I was getting clips of the Joe Rogan show with Neil deGrasse Tyson on there, and it was really interesting. I'm not a Joe Rogan guy. I've listened to his podcast a few times, and he's got some interesting guests and stuff. But this was a particularly interesting thing. But anyway, we're gonna wrap up. Oh wait, Lindsay wants to.
I wanted to find that podcast.
Oh, she's gonna find the podcast. So, but the Neil deGrasse Tyson interview was really interesting. There were some clips. Well, it was Joe Rogan. It was the Joe Rogan podcast interviewing Neil deGrasse Tyson. But there was a few really interesting thoughts from Neil deGrasse Tyson, which I think might be controversial. I mean, they are controversial for sure, especially in the scientific community or in the religious community or in this, this ultra liberal place that we live. Which was, number one, he said that this one of the single most important events in human history was Columbus, because if you study the history of the Earth, the last ice age caused all of the Earth's water, not all the Earth, but a good chunk of the Earth's water to be trapped in ice on the surface. So the ocean levels went down low enough for there to be a land bridge between Europe and North America. It's called Beringia, I believe, is the name of the land bridge. But people migrated out of Africa up into Asia and then across this land bridge into North America and eventually down to South America. But after the Ice Age, all of the, good chunk of the water melted, the ocean levels rose. These two groups of humans, our species was separated for a good amount of time. And if they would have remained separated, we could have started to evolve differently, and we would have been different. We would have been the same species, but it would have been different. And if you're left long enough, we could have even become different species. Where his mind was going was, I was like, man, that's kind of crazy. And he compared it to Australia. Australia has been separated from other continents for a long time, and look at the strange life that lives on Australia. Mammals lay eggs on Australia. They have pouches. They're venomous. They're weird animals on Australia. And that's because of the separation, and they just went their way when the other mammals on the rest of the world, they went their way. So the fact that, and like he wasn't saying like, oh, Columbus was a good man, because he did a lot of awful things, obviously, but it had to happen. And if it wasn't Columbus, it would have been somebody else. And our species had to be rejoined in order for us to stay a species. So that there was that. idea, and then he started talking about using the Gregorian calendar, and it's it's developed by the Catholic Church. Scientists in the Catholic Church, they studied astronomy enough to get our calendar where it needs to be pinpointed, and he was going on and on about calendars, and it was super fascinating. But he still uses BC and AD because it's centered around the birth of Christ. And regardless if you say BCE or CE, it's still centered around a date, which is the birth of Christ. So you can change your terminology, but it's still centered around the birth of Christ. And it is what it is. I mean, and there's a movement or some people who want to completely get rid of the Gregorian calendar altogether. There's another YouTube channel called, I don't know, it's a weird name, Querdzagart, I think it's called. It's these cartoon birds and a narrator, and it's like animated, and they explain these really intense subjects like black holes and dark matter and all this other weird, crazy stuff. But they started talking about changing the calendar altogether. Anyways, I'm rambling.
Nerding the hell out.
I'm rambling. So what's the name of the podcast?
Sorry, I found it. It's called Bizarre States.
Bizarre States. Mm-hmm. They sounded kind of hipstery.
Yeah, join Jessica Chobot and Andrew Bowser as they lift the veil and showcase hauntings, urban myths, unsolved murders, general oddities, and things that everyone has experienced but nobody really wants to talk about.
Yeah.
You can go to, it's a Nerdist podcast, so if you want to check that out, you can. Let me see. You can go to nerdist.com/podcast/bizarre states. If you want more information, they are wonderful and I love them. And you guys can handle that if you want to. It's super interesting, super fun.
They do not look, we're looking at pictures of them. They don't look like how they sound.
No, they don't at all. Which is part of the reason I love them. So anyway.
My hand is broke.
Your hand is broke.
What? But anyway, yes, so check out Bizarre States if you're into that kind of stuff. I like quirky, weird, oddity type things. I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
I just need my brain to be constantly asking questions because I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting
Cool.
podcast. So
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right, well.
Do you feel better after you've released a lot of stuff?
I do. I feel like I need to take a shower though.
Me too.
To
I
just
feel like I need to.
cleanse this garbage.
You want to do a 4-bottle juice cleanse and get something out of your body?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'll change her.
Thank you. Oh.
So,
Do
all
it
right,
before
guys.
She puts her hands down her pants and
Have a great Memorial Day? No, Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Labor Day weekend. Oops, that's not the one.
It's fine. Do it.
What's the name of this?
This little girl is ripe, dude.
Oh.
Let's wrap it up.
I forgot the name. Oh, shout out to Jeff, by the way. He did the music. What's the name?
You are a smelly toddler. You are one.
Yeah.
smelly
All right, guys.
toddler.
Have a great weekend. We'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.
Looking up. It's gone. I think I go.